Then. And I always thought this was kind of funny because, and I'm going to be dealing with this either today or the next time, the idea of a sacred day. Now, I believe in the fourth commandment. I absolutely do. But there are some people who take an unbiblical stance on this issue. Seventh day people. And one of the things that they do, they say, see, you occult pagans, you follow the Roman Catholic system, and you worship on the day of sun. You worship the sun god, just like your Catholic buddies told you to do. Which they're saying it's wrong to worship on the first day of the week. They worship on Saturn day. Saturn's day. The seventh day. It was named after Saturn, who is the chief of all the gods. Do you know who Saturn is? He's like Satan. Okay, there's a correlation between the etymology of both of those words, Saturn and Satan, and Santa. Anyway, he is the chief of all of those gods, is who he is. He's the one in charge. He's the top dog. He is the chief prince of all of these other gods. He's the one in charge. And so I just want you to get this concept. These days of the week are ruled over by one of these celestial nations, one of these kings, one of these seven heads, these seven mountains. They rule over the events of mankind, and astrology believes that. They are the gods of this world. They are the principalities mentioned in Ephesians chapter 6. Now here's something interesting. Saturn, if you look at this picture here of Saturn, notice the rings around Saturn. We're dealing with the coming in of a new pope right now. The outgoing of the old, the incoming of the new. You've seen these graphics of the popes wearing this red brimmed hat. The first time I saw that, I'm going, what is he, cowboy? Is that the cowboy pope? Yeehaw! No. This is actually part of their belief system in Roman Catholicism. And let me just help you with this here. If you're Roman Catholic and you're watching this, I want you to know I love you. I believe in the God of this Bible right here. And I know you say you do, but your system of religion, the Roman Catholic system, is the greatest repository of the mystery religion and the mystery cults that exist on planet Earth right now. I can't go into it all today. I will try to do that in the future to show you exactly what's going on inside the Vatican system. But here we have the Pope, and he wears a big red hat with this big circular brim that goes all the way around it. You know what it's called? It's called the Saturno. Do you know why it's called the Saturno? Because it's modeled after the planet Saturn. And who is Saturn? He's the chief of the seven planetary gods, the seven celestial beings, the seven kings. That's who he is. And the imagery of something on someone's head means that it is in authority over them. When crowns are on when the crown of thorns is on Christ, it is the king of thorns. It is the principalities. It is death that reigns over mankind. And Christ bore that to the cross to destroy it. And by nature of the Pope putting Saturn on his head, they are telling you who rules the Vatican. It's the chief of the gods himself, Satan himself with seven heads. That's who that is. I hope you accept that. In the Bible, he was referred to as Chiun or Remphan. Amos chapter 5, verse 26. But you have borne the tabernacle of your Moloch and Chiun, your images, the star, look at there, the star of your God which you made to yourselves. Acts 7:43. Yea, you took up the tabernacle of Moloch and the star of your God Remphan. That's another name for him. Remphan, Chiun, and Saturn, they're all the same. Figures which you made to worship them, and I will carry you away beyond where? Babylon. Think about it. The beast with seven heads brings in Mystery Babylon. The seven dwarves are protecting Snow White, the sacred feminine, the goddess, Isis, Ishtar, Mystery Babylon the Great. And here we have in the Bible, it's just telling you, it's telling you the truth of what is hidden and covered up in the mystery religions. Is that the star of your god Remphan, Saturn, and his 7 celestial bodies are the reason why God brings in and has mankind be ruled over by Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots. Go read Revelation 17. She has made the nations drunk with the wine. She's made the kings of the earth drunk with the wine of her fornication. It's all about bringing her in to rule over mankind. And God said, because you put the Saturno on your head, because you worshipped Remphan and Chiun, I'm going to carry you away and put you under the rule of Mystery Babylon the Great. If you know anything about Wicca, you know that Wiccans have what's called a Shabbat, a Sabbat, a Sabbath. We have dealt with this before, the 7 or the 8, there it is, the 8 sacred holy days or unholy days. In witchcraft, you have Samhain, Yule, Imbolc, Ostara, Beltane, summer solstice. I can't pronounce the other one. But anyway, these 8 calendar days that they worship. These are high days. These are days in which witches believe that their magic is accentuated because they do their rituals on this particular day. Now, I'm going to show you, I'm going to help you out here with what the Bible says. Let's go and read now, because I don't want to be misunderstood, and I know some people are going to come unglued when I say this. You're going to say, well, you're a pagan, okay? You don't love the Bible. You don't keep the commandments, all right? Let's read commandment number 4. Let's read it, all right? Here's what the Bible says. Verse number 8 of Exodus 20. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. So here's the commandment from God, the law of God. If I'm being accused of breaking this commandment, then that means that I'm going to go stand before God in His judgment, not anybody else's, but in God's judgment. I'm going to go stand before Him. And I'm going to be judged not by what anybody else says. I'm going to be judged by the law. You see, we wouldn't accept that in an earthly courtroom. We wouldn't accept that if we were being tried, if we were being convicted or accused of a crime, to go into an earthly courtroom for anybody to just show up and say, well, I think he did this, and I don't think he ought to be able to do that. We can't do that. We're a nation of laws. We're not anarchists. We're a nation that has written laws on the books. It's the codes that we live by. The policeman pulls you over and he's going to write you a ticket. Did you know that he has to go to exactly what code that he is using in the code of enforcement? He can't just make it up. He can't walk up to you and say, officer, why'd you pull me over? You're ugly. I don't like you. So I'm going to write you a big fat ticket, $100, because I don't like you. That's not the law. I'm not going to be judged by what somebody else said. I'm going to be judged by this. So here's the law. The law says, number 1, remember the Sabbath day. 2, keep it holy. Now, keeping the Sabbath day holy is done how? By its remembrance. Then, how does the Bible say? Not anybody else, not Ellen White, not anybody else in the world. How does the Bible say that we are to keep the Sabbath day holy and by remembering it? How does the Bible say we're to do it? 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea and all that in them is, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. We remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy by doing what? By not working. The Bible mentions in one of the other places on the Sabbath day by doing no servile work, which means no employed work, no servile work. If you have to feed the horses, you got to feed the horses. If you have to milk the cows, you have to milk the cows. That was allowed. But it says do no servile work on that particular day. It does not. There is no law in the Bible that says that we have to worship only on the 7th day and we cannot worship any other day. That is a lie. If you have been told that, you've been told a lie. It's not in the Bible. Every person that I've asked who's questioned me on the Sabbath day, why don't you keep the Sabbath day? If you can show me in the Bible where it says I'm only allowed and commanded to worship God in a public setting only on the seventh day, and I cannot do it any other day. If you can show me that in the Bible, I will gladly come underneath it. It's not there. It doesn't exist. So here's where I'm going with this. Witches recognize the religion of Wicca. What did Paul say to the Galatians? Who hath bewitched you? The religion of Wicca designates the day of Saturn, or I'll say this, a Shabbat, a Sabbath, as a day in which their magic is very special and accentuated on that particular day. Here is a graphic. I want you to take a look at this. This is from a book called The Rosicrucians, Their Rites and Mysteries. I want you to notice this graphic. I'm going to show you what this all means. The top circle there, you see there, it's the throne of God. It's represented by a triangle. Stop right here. God's not a triangle. Okay? He is, these three are one, but God does not have a symbol. You cannot, the book of Acts says you cannot engrave with art and man's device the Godhead. So this is not God. This is Lucifer. All right? So, and he's circled now by, I want you to notice, his glory or his emanation shines downward through Saturn, the seventh planet. You have the seven celestial kings, the seven objects, the seven orbs. Saturn is on the bottom. So he represents the seventh day or Saturn. And so in the occult realm, in Rosicrucian lore and in alchemy and everything else, the glory of the God shines down through the Saturn day, the seventh day. That light shines all the way down through the 22 levels of the Kabbalah, which is the Hebrew alphabet, or the 22 chromosomes of DNA. And it shines all the way down into the interior of the earth to glorify Lucifer's throne in the heart of the earth. And then the teaching is that now that Lucifer's light has shined down through Saturn, all the way down through the 22 levels or layers, down to the heart of the earth, now his glory is going to rise up because of this little ancient, mystical, magical, celestial thing that happened. Now, here's where I'm going with this, all right? The Seventh-day Adventist Church, and there are other groups who are like this. Hebrew Roots, a lot of the Sacred Name people, they all do the same thing. They all have this imaginary law in their mind that says that we must gather together to worship on this most holy of all days in the world. That's what we must do. When the Bible says no such thing, it just simply says remember it and don't work. That's all there is to it. You say, well, the Jews gathered together on the Sabbath day in the synagogues. So, God never commanded them to. Never did. He never said that they had to do that. That was the invention of mankind. And by this time, by the time Jesus came around, the religion of the Jews had been corrupted. How had it been corrupted? It had been corrupted by the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Girgashites, the seven nations that God said don't learn their religion. The Babylonians, God said don't learn their religion. They did. They had already incorporated it into their belief system. But God made no such commandment to them to worship in the synagogues on the Sabbath day alone. He never said that. The Seventh-day Adventist movement, we went over Exodus chapter 20. You see it, I have it here in my notes here. God just simply said, don't worry. He did not say that you must only worship on this sacred day. He never said it. Where, according to the Seventh-day Adventist Church, where did they get it? Let me show you. These are the writings of Ellen White. These are her quotations. This is what she said.